In today's episode of the Platform Presents podcast, I'm here with an interesting guest. Today, I'm with Harry Dance, who is heading over from Kayo Digital. And he's the digital marketing director as of recent. Has been in different roles within the agency, but also other interesting places. Today we want to talk about Kayo. We're going to talk about Harry's journey in marketing and growth. And pleasure to meet you. Welcome, Harry.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate this.
Very cool. Yeah. Maybe give us an overview, like a 360 Kayo rundown. Like, what is it all about?
Cool. We're actually, as a company, we're probably a lot longer, but if I just focus on the agency, basically we're 3 years old. We focus on software, marketing apps and websites. And realistically, I think you can simplify it as we use technology to help businesses, to help them grow, develop, and to really simplistic way we've been growing ourselves is we help businesses who have grown, and as they grow, we grow with them. So it's really just trying to be that advisor that, that's someone that can support you through technology. I think that's the best way to do it.
Yep. Very good. Okay. And what type of companies are you working with? Like who kind of, knocks on your door? Who needs, what types of businesses, what types of people? Maybe tell us a bit about that.
Oh, I wish we'd knock on the doors now, but we're all isolated in houses these days. But it's a good question. I think really we kind of focus on the SME market in the UK, around the southeast. So it's like London, Kent, all those areas. But we definitely have clients further afield and a lot bigger ones. But I think we found our place in an area that providing almost enterprise services to SME clients. And by that, I mean, we're very evidence-based, and that's using data, that's actually understanding the situation, the scenario, rather than diagnosing. Basically, we diagnose before we prescribe, and a lot of companies unfortunately prescribe before they even consider what the client's going through. So yep. I think that's really where we've kind of been making a difference and how we have grown so quickly.
Yep. Very good. Okay, cool. I see. So what types of roles do the people typically have? Is that a CMO within a company that just needs support, or is that like a business owner who doesn't have the function at all? Like maybe tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so it's a real range actually. And I think being biased, I find it easier to work with marketing people, but that's not always going to be the case. But I think it is it's the owners, the senior members in the companies who actually kind of go, I know we can use technology, be it a software, an app, a website, digital marketing, to help us develop, improve. How do we do it? So it's trying to, again, kind of, I feel like a politician just repeating my answer, but actually focusing exactly on what they do by being the advisor and reinforcing what they need and how we can help them, because it's a horrible saying in the UK, cradle to grave. Have you heard that one?
Yep.
Yeah, we try to be that cradle to grave for businesses in the sense of we need to be there to support every element of their life. Hopefully no grave, but just cradle up. There you go.
I mean, it could be a new business model.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. But on the flip side, like how do people hear about Kayo? Like what is we love to talk about sort of growth on the podcast. Like what's sort of the typical journey, or for other words, the typical client acquisition channel that you guys, would leverage?
Yeah, so we're only 3 years old, and we've got very good growth aspirations. We've tripled in size in 3 years. We're looking to double in size again in 3 years. And I think there's no shortcuts to it, really. We're very inbound in the sense of people come to us all the time. And I think around 40% of our current inquiries come from search. Mm-hmm. So we're very focused on the SEO element, but also it grows through word of mouth, through actually kind of the quality of your projects, people seeing them, and also through your colleagues. Actually, if you've got happy colleagues, if you've got colleagues that have been around, you've got colleagues that actually have almost a micro influencers, using a horrible terminology. Work comes that way as well. And what I'm trying to reinforce is actually we need sustained growth. It's not just we need a really big hit early on. So we don't need to just shove all of our money in PPC for 7 months, get a lot of inquiries and do them down. If we're using PPC, it's for a sustained process. Everything's sustained, because marketing's from me sitting here on this podcast to the pen that I write with, to the project we do, to the content we write. So as long as we're all facing the same direction and talking about or acting like Kayo Digital would in your eyes, then we're doing all right.
Very good. I mean, you mentioned that inbound is key, and it's actually quite interesting because, and number one, a lot of agencies actually work the other way around, so that's quite interesting. First and foremost, but second, I'm quite curious what's your perspective on the website? Then we speak about websites quite a bit on the podcast. What role do you attribute to the website? How are you thinking about Kayo's website sort of as its utility in the journey of people getting started?
I think probably I don't want to kind of overemphasize it, but it's integral in the sense of actually first impressions aren't always in person these days. So I probably stalked you on LinkedIn before this. I probably looked at your website before this, if you're on the website, all these kind of things. And even with someone, I'm going to talk to Kayo Digital today, you'd look at my website. So that's even before we've had a conversation. So first impressions are almost done through websites these days as well. And then on top of that, the inbound marketing, we know not everyone will just type, I need a website, who should I go to? And the bigger the quality of the clients, the more they want to go to people they trust, know and respect. And through that, we produce content. We've got a Kayo How newsletter that goes out every 2 months. And realistically, that is, first, you're producing content for social media, for search, etc., etc. But realistically, you are pushing stuff out there in a consistent process that allows people to know of you, at least, because they're not going to do business with you if they don't know you. That's a very rare opportunity. And I think that is a real approach of ours, that kind of that sustained growth will have to come from us, unfortunately, for me, putting time and effort into our own craft, our own website, as well as others. And I think that's quite a key thing. It's making sure people know about you even before they meet you.
Yep, I see. Interesting. Okay, cool. Now, this integral part that you were describing of the website, like, how do you personally think about the page in terms of, its current strength, but also maybe its room for improvement? Because typically on the show, what comes to light is, and it's quite natural, it's an ever-evolving piece of work. How do you think about it? Where's the strength of the page versus the biggest room for improvement?
Cool. So this is dangerous for me because I could go on for too long, and I know we don't have that. Basically, I think strengths are producing content that actually, by that I mean kind of like blogs areas, research papers, all that, to actually drive engagement, to drive people's interest, because I want to give away as many secrets as possible, because if people read it, they may think Kayo Digital, we know what we're talking about, then they'll talk to us. I think that's a strength. Weakness, I think actually people buy from people, and we're a company size of 15, and then plus some freelancers that support us day to day. And then when a company comes to us, they can look at our profiles on LinkedIn or wherever it is and understand who we are, who we've worked with before. And actually, if we started promoting the people more, describing if I've worked for Debenhams, for example, big brands or brands that relate to their industry, and then we are going to get more and more kind of engagement with kind of companies because they know we do the service and they know we hire quality people. So I think it's really, in short, blogs good, people profiles, understanding who we are, less so.
Okay, to be able to communicate the human part of it through the website.
Yes, definitely, it's integral, I think.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Yeah, before we're moving on, learning a little bit more about yourself, I would love to talk into one specific thing, because obviously you seem to be very deep into this, and also obviously working with clients. I'm curious, like, what have you found to be sort of the best process, or how do you go about figuring out why people not convert on the website? Like, is there any processes, any tools, any approaches that you believe a very firm believer in?
Guessing, no. I think there's two ways. There's a quantitative and qualitative. So quantitative, look at the numbers. Heat mapping's brilliant. Watching people where they click, actually screen monitoring, understanding that. But again, with that, there is a little bit of guesswork to it, because realistically, you're watching someone, but you're not in their brain. I think that's the strangest way to say it, but yeah, you're not in their brain.
Yeah.
Qualitative, I'm a big fan of just putting someone in front of a screen and going, talk to me. I want you to do this. Tell me out loud what's happening. Tell me out loud what you're thinking. And then before they press that button, let's pretend it's a checkout. What do you think is going to happen next? I think that's the biggest question. Once you press the button that I've asked you to, what do you think happens next? Because they may go, or as an example, a client that we had in January, they all said, I think I would finish this process now. I would have bought your product. What happened was they went to a new page that was upselling, and then they had 4 or 5 more pages left, and you saw the drop off was significant. And I think we had the data to know there was significant drop off. We knew these pages. Why was a different reason. We were initially, we thought, oh, maybe they don't like the product, but it's because that's not what they were expecting. They thought they'd bought it, they were done.
Yep.
So I think that's probably the best way, combining them, but using qualitative to reinforce the quantitative and direct it properly.
Yeah, very good. Cool. Let's switch gears. As I mentioned, I would be curious to figure out, given there's so much content out there on growth marketing, like, where do you go? What do you like to read? What's your go-to resources? And to basically be able to find the needle in the haystack.
Yeah. Oh, that's a really difficult one, because I could pretend that I read 24 hours a day, 7 days a week about digital marketing, and that probably wouldn't be the case. I'd be lying to everyone. I listen to rugby podcasts. That's good. Mm-hmm. No, I like to read a book. I like to find specific books, but more like actually business books, because I think you can find a lot about digital marketing, bigger pictures, if you look at actually something that's already been discussed for hundreds of years. Because marketing realistically the idea hasn't changed. It's how do people know you? Yeah. Then with specifics, it is, and for my sins, it's probably Twitter, to be honest. I follow as many people as I can that have got say in the market, and then I prescribe to kind of like the general kind of search engine lands and stuff like that and all those. But actually sometimes I want to follow people who I think are intelligent and think that they've got good say so. And I'm dyslexic, so too much reading is going to kill me after a while. So I try and make it as short as possible.
Very cool. Keeping you up on this sort of as short as possible, short and crisp question and answers. Would love to launch into our rapid fire questions if you're ready for those.
Yeah, cool.
Very good. So what is the last book you read?
It's a sci-fi book. So Raymond Weiss and Silver Talon Hawk, I think it's called. Yeah.
What's the one single thing that your company is focused on the most at the moment?
Growing business through technology.
If there would be no boundaries in tech, right? Everything is possible. What's the one thing that you would fix for your role today?
My role? Automated email response so I didn't even have to think about it.
What is the last thing that kept you awake at night about the company?
Make the worry that we aren't always achieving what the clients want. I think that's a big one always.
And if you don't mind, I would do a little bit of time travel with you, right? To go back to the University of Leicester. Is it the way I say it? Leicester?
Yeah. That's
University
good.
of Leicester. Say you're heading out of education, right? You're ready. You're up into the world of, I think you studied psychology, up into the world of business and marketing. Like, what's the one advice you would give yourself?
Two things. You're young, don't think you're old. I think the first one is, there's no rush in life. I think that's the big thing. Especially when you're younger, you think, I thought straight away, I'm going to have to be a director by the age of 25. Didn't know what in, but I had to be a director. I think understanding that actually time is a real benefit. The more is the better. It's like a fruit, you ripen. And the second thing is, listen to your peers. Don't be ridiculously stubborn. You're not an island. So I think those two aspects are the key things in my life.
Very cool. Harry, I really appreciate you being part of the Pathfinder Presents show today. I want to give you the last word. If somebody would be forgetting all that we discussed about Kayo today, what's the one thing that they should remember?
We help business through technology.
Simple and sweet. Thanks
Cool.
for being on the show.
Thank you.